Hello everyone and welcome back to Groove Gaming. Today we're going to be taking a look at one other PvE build video. I just wanted to do another PvE build video because I'm getting really into raiding, and with the newest announcement, as all of us should probably know, and if you don't happen to know, the next episode of Living World is coming out Tuesday, February 7th, and with it another raid wing. And this is something about the penitent. I forgot the first phrase. And as you might be able to pick up, I'm a little sick. I got sick again. And I've been really trying to push through. If you've been on my streams, you know this. But today I'm here to make a video and about the druid. And this specific druid, just as a disclaimer, this character, I'm still building her gear. She is in exotic magi gear. I'm trying to do ascended zealots gear with maybe some mixtures of clerics. I just want you to know she's not completely done. I still have some kinks to work out with her, but overall, I've had quite a decent amount of success with her, and I thought I could bring it to you guys today. And this specific druid build is very defensive and relies heavily on being a bastion of healing energies. So not too much damage, so you do have some damage capabilities, but you're mainly keeping your team alive. So let's get right into it with our specializations, and then we will go over our armor, and then some skills, and then some gameplay footage from a raid. So the first ones the specializations that we're taking are skirmishing, nature magic, and druid. Skirmishing is your trait where you have some more utility and damage potential, while nature magic and druid is more of your healing and support trait lines. So for skirmishing, we're taking sharpened edges. You and your pet have a chance to cause bleeding on critical hits. Spotter, increased precision for nearby allies, more utility for your allies and your raid group. And then quick draw. When swapping weapons, the next ranger weapon skill you use will recharge faster, and 66% faster to be exact. This also works with your celestial avatar, so if you happen to switch into celestial avatar and use the skill in there, that skill will recharge faster. Just keep that in mind, because that can actually be very useful in some raid fights. Next, we're taking nature magic. I take allies aid. Whenever you start reviving, you use search and rescue, and you also have an increased revive speed. I've also used bountiful hunter if I don't necessarily have a emphasis on reviving people. Bountiful hunter just gives you extra damage per boon you have on your character. So you can switch this out if you've noticed that people aren't necessarily dying too quickly. This is more of just like a precautionary, just in case someone goes down. So play around with these two options. Right now I'm taking allies aid. Then we take vigorous training. Pets grant vigor to nearby allies when you swap pets. More boons, very nice. And then invigorating bond. Your pet heals allies in an area when executing a command, your F2 ability. And this heals for about 2,000 or a little more than 2,000, depending on how much healing power you have. It can be really nice, especially if you're having trouble with healing or there's a burst, just a huge burst of damage, especially on Gorseval. Some tactics, I recently actually ran this tactic where you don't actually use an updraft, which I thought was very curious. And so I needed to have that extra healing to keep everyone alive. So this came very, very handy. I've also seen people take protective ward if you want to give more protection and that extra weakness, but I'd rather have the healing than just protection. Because if you have a guardian and they're running hammer, then you have, permanent protection most of the time. I would rather take the healing. And then finally, the glory, the druid. First one we're taking is cultivated synergy. Using your heal skill, heals allies around you and your pet. This is more AoE healing, especially with druid. AoE healing is really, really nice, especially in certain fights like Veil Guardian, where you happen to be spread out a little bit at times and you need to cover a large area. Secondly, we take verdant etching, reduces recharge of glyphs. Very handy, especially when I'm running a full utility bar of glyphs. And activating glyph will plant a seed. And this seed is actually a skill in the celestial avatar skill line. It's your second skill. And it just places a little seed and it explodes for a decent amount of healing and cleanse conditions. It's really nice. Just a little extra healing. It's just like a little cushioning. It's fun. It's nice to run. But it also, It works really well with this trait, Grace of the Land. Allies you heal with Celestial Avatar abilities gain increased damage. The damage is always really, really nice. You could, I've never really ran with Lingering Light. I feel like it'd be really fun, and I feel like it doesn't get used as often as it could. I'm not too sure. But Grace of the Land is really strong. And with your verdant etchings, it says when you use Celestial Avatar abilities, Seed of Life is still a Celestial Avatar ability. So you don't technically need to be in Celestial Avatar to get use of this trait. You can just use your glyphs, and then your seed will pop, and then boom, that sounded really weird. Your seed will explode. That makes it sound even worse. You know what I mean. You're going to get the effect of Grace of the Land. Sorry, my mind's in the gutter. But yes, you're going to get your Grace of the Land effect either way. Okay, those are specializations. Quickly move on to equipment because I don't want to make this too long. I'm starting to build my zealots. I have a zealot's head. Everything else is Magi's. But I'm using Superior Rune of Water just for extra boon duration. And especially if you use that trait with increased damage per boon you have, extra boon duration is really nice. But Magi's gear, exotics. And then I have Yggdrasil, which is the Elite Specialization Druid Staff. I have this as clerics. I need to switch it to a zealot's stat. I've not done that yet. I've been behind on converting things. In the Mystic Forge, if you don't happen to know, you can convert ascended items into different stats if you have I forgot what it's called. If you have like it's like a sigil, but it's not a sigil. I don't know. I forgot the actual technical term of it. But you can change your stats in the Mystic Forge. Just to let you know. And then I have a Berserker longbow. If I happen to be, like, say, Veil Guardian, which is one of the gameplay that I'm going to be showing you. If I'm in Veil Guardian and I'm running Green Group and I need that extra range to deal damage or something, or break a break bar, longbow could be really, really useful. Or just controlling Seekers. So that's why I take longbow. I know you could also take sword and warhorn, or sword and axe. That's it. Sword and axe for extra damage. And then our back items, I have a rare equipped. I need to get an exotic. But I have 2 berserkers just for extra damage, and then I have healing for the rest of my trinkets and rings and amulets. So that's about it for my equipment and all that such. And now let's go over how the druid really works. So yeah. Well, actually first, let me go over my glyphs, or why I chose to run with glyphs. I chose to run with glyphs because I really like glyphs. And I like the effects, like the extra damage, and just getting that extra condi and damage on people. You could, of course, switch this out with the Frost Spirit to get that extra hit. If you want to go extra defensive, you can use Stone Spirit, but I don't know. Stone Spirit could be good if you don't have easy access to protection. But in the groups that I've ran, I don't need either of these, because sometimes they'll have a second druid and they'll run Frost Spirit and a Stone Spirit. I know I could double up and give everyone Frost Spirit, which is probably the best, but my group compositions that I've been in don't really require that. And then Glyph of Tie is just for extra knockback, especially if you're on Veil Guardian. You want to get those green Seekers out of the way. It's always nice. So yeah, I will talk about the skills, and we shall move on to some gameplay. And I'll see you guys on that side. Welcome back, everyone, to the gameplay portion of this video. And of course, as I said before, this will be a Veil Guardian fight, the very first boss in the Spirit Veil raid. Quite difficult for new players, but as I have done this more often, I've actually noticed that I've been getting a lot more kills consistently, and I think it's just the amount of time that it's been out. People tend to get used to it as they get used to a lot of things. Just like with Heart of Thorns, when it first came out, meta events were terrifyingly hard. Now they're quite tame. So in this video, I am showcasing my druid gameplay during a Veil Guardian fight. Gorsel was after this one, but I will not be showing you guys that today. So you can see me running for greens. I was put on green circle duty, but I had noticed that multiple people were coming to green. You can't hear the actual voice comms, just to keep people's privacy if they don't want to be on here, I would call out saying, hey, people don't need to be, not 5 people need to be on green, only 4 people. And that's something that I've noticed a lot with the newer players. They tend to just go for green because they think it's the safest thing to do. If no one needs an extra substitute for green, really pay attention and make sure you don't stand in there, because you could potentially be losing some DPS because you're taking your time out of DPSing to go for the green. Just a helpful tip for anybody who's new to Veiled Guardian. Now with healing, we do have 2 druids. The second druid was, I believe, a kind of off healer, more damage. So the majority of the healing fell on me, though I was being helped with the extra druid, and just everyone else has the healing still. So my job was a bit more laxed than a solo healer's would be. But with this portion, it's more difficult because you have 2 of the Veiled Guardian, or 2 of the colored guardians, and you have to really focus on people's health bars because you're in this circle taking damage, as well as their actual abilities with the teleports in the green circles. Excuse me. Pushing through. So I'm trying my best to look at their health bars and make sure that everybody is topped off. I typically reserve my healing skill, my actual healing glyph, in Celestial Avatar mode when everyone's really low. I typically switch there, or swap to Celestial Avatar because it's typically up, and use it on everybody else if there happens to be a big blowout of damage, because I don't typically need it. I can typically stay alive and I typically know my surroundings and my positioning. I'm mostly saving that healing glyph for everyone else around me, because when you switch into your Celestial Avatar stance, your healing glyph does a significant more amount of healing to allies around you relative to yourself. You still get a minor heal, but the majority of the healing is spread out to the 5 people around you. It's very, very powerful. As well as I also use my Celestial Avatar glyphs. There's a specific glyph on my 7th key that increases everybody's damage by 10% if you're not in Celestial Avatar mode. If you're in Celestial Avatar mode, instead of increasing damage, it increases healing. I've actually used this sometimes when I feel that people need an extra oomph in their healing and they're not topped off, and no matter what I'm doing they can't do it. So hopefully if I use that, the fellow druid will also get the extra healing and everybody else will get the extra healing and potentially top themselves off. As well as cleansing conditions, though in this fight you don't really need cleanse conditions, so I don't really worry about that too much. And the Celestial Avatar glyph of tides, I don't typically want to pull them in unless people from far away are getting hit, and I want to pull them towards me. That's pretty much a death sentence, so I typically try to get up close to them and then just glyph of tides them away. I will also sometimes use my elite glyph. Oh, as you can see there, I got teleported. Be very careful of the teleports, children. For this fight in particular, I don't know why I said children, but for this fight in particular, I will also use my glyph, my elite glyph in Celestial Avatar mode, because there's just so much damage going out. I want to make sure that everybody is secure and doesn't die, because you can go through the enraged timer. People tend to like to beat their enraged timer. I understand. We missed someone there. Just side note, we missed someone there, and a lot of people took damage. This is when I go into Celestial Avatar. As you can see there, my 6th skill, I used it and healed a lot of people up. As I was saying, with this fight, I make sure everybody's topped off, just because people tend to not like to hit the enraged timer, but you could still hit the enraged timer and still do it. I've done it before. There's a mindset where you just, if you hit the enraged timer, you're just GG, but you can really push through. And with the Druid elite spec, Druid's elite skill, you could really top everybody off and keep them sustained. And with my staff, I'm trying to use my 4th skill, my Entangling Vines, strategically with the Seekers, though sometimes I tend to miss them just because the Seekers are moving and I'm not calculating it right, and I'm watching people's health bars. When you're a Druid, there's so many things going on. That's one reason why I love healing. You're always doing something, as well as damage. You're always technically damaging something, but with healing, if you're not healing, you're damaging. And if you're not damaging, you're healing. For this, we're just waiting for the Red Guardian to go down. Our Condi was a little lacking, not like no, I hate the word lacking. It makes it so negative. It was just a little under, so it took we had to wait a little bit, but that's fine. Just some time was lost. And you can always make adjustments in the actual pie phases where you just go and damage faster and break bars faster. So here, damaging people's abilities, or using my damage abilities and buffing everybody with my 7th skill, my 7th utility skill. Also, your 5th skill on your staff is the water field. So keep that in mind if people are shooting projectiles through it, or you're doing a blast finisher through it. It'd be quite helpful if people around you are taking a lot of damage. As well as your staff 2nd skill, keep that off cooldown. Use it consistently. You shoot at an orb and the orb will spin around the target, healing everybody as it passes through. As you can see, I go and swap into my Celestial Avatar. I typically use it whenever I need to. Whenever I see there's potentially a large burst damage, I typically get prepared and just use it. But sometimes it will come back to bite you. I'm trying to get a little bit better at timing my Celestial Avatar. But yeah, that was the basis of this fight. And then just keeping on green circles, especially as a druid, you have a lot of mobility, especially with your Ancestral Grace, your 3rd skill. You have a lot of mobility, so it's a really easy task to get to the green circles and get back into the fight. And plus the healing. I hope you also enjoy this music. This music is the Season 1 Scarlet Lion's Arch battle music. I always love it. And then more greens and getting more mushrooms. Mushrooms are very useful. They increase your attack speed and your actual, yeah, so more damage. I try to always get them if a green happens to be close by. Here I try to go for the green. Not a lot of people are in it. And I end up going down here, and this is about the end of the video. I go down here, but spoiler, we end up finishing it. I thought we weren't going to finish it. I got really scared. I hope everybody enjoyed watching. I hope you guys liked that build. Hopefully you check it out if you're looking to support people. Leave a comment below about some other builds I could try out and what other things you'd like to see on this channel. And I'll be covering the next Living World update and possibly more raids. So subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys later. I love you all. Bye.